All right, guys, for our reading lesson, we're going to continue with our Scholastic News Magazine. It says October 18th, 2021. Okay, we're going to work on page 4 of our packet. That's page 1, 2, 3, 4. So this packet right here, okay, on page 4 of our packet. But we're going to reread our article called We Work with Puppies. Okay, so follow along.
Careers. We work with puppies. How experts trained the puppies on a new TV show. Have you heard of a TV script? It tells actors what to say and do on your favorite TV show. But what if a dog is in the story? A puppy can't read a script. So how does it know what to do? Animal trainers like Christy Goroski and Angela Coons can help. Their job is to teach puppies tricks and make the show shine. It's not always easy, Coons says. As animal trainers, we have to be problem solvers. Puppy Place is here. The two trainers recently worked on Puppy Place. That's a new show based on the Puppy Place books. It's about Lizzie and her brother, Charles. They care for cute puppies and find them homes. With a new dog on each episode, the trainers Goroski and Coons were busy. They had just 2 weeks to teach each dog at least 5 tricks. They were sit, stay, come, retrieve, and go to a spot. Trick for a treat? During training, Goroski and Coons use a treat to get a dog to behave a certain way. For example, to get a dog to sit, they hold a treat just above the dog's nose. As the dog looks up, its body naturally sits. At the same time, the trainers use cues. Those are special words or hand movements. Once the dog sits, it gets a treat as a reward. Goroski explains that the dog learns that a cue means it should behave in a special way. If it does, it will get a treat. Next, the trainers add more time between the trick and the reward. That time gets longer and longer. Soon, the dog does the trick without a reward. It's showtime. While making the show, trainers stand where audiences can't see them, but the dogs can. They give the dogs cues so they know what to do. Goroski says any dog can be trained. The trainer just needs to make it fun. If the dogs love what they're doing, they're going to do amazing things, she explains.
All right, so on page 4 of your Scholastic News packet, okay, we already reread We Work with Puppies. It says refer to We Work with Puppies to respond to the questions below. Reread the article to find the details that support your answers. Remember to write in complete sentences. So look at number 1. It says Angela Coons says that teaching puppies tricks is not always easy. What details in the text support that idea? So what does she say or in the text that support it's not always easy to teach them tricks, okay? And then number 2 says, according to the article, what is a cue? Okay, what is a cue? It's in the text. And then number 3, it says, what steps do the trainers follow to teach a dog to sit? So what are the things that they do, the steps that they take to teach the dog to sit? All right, go ahead and answer 1 through 3. All right, question number 1 says, Angela Coons says that teaching puppy tricks is not always easy. What details in the text? So I need to go back and reread We Work with Puppies, right? What details in the text support that idea? Well, let's go back to the text. And it's actually right here. Look, I'm going to highlight it. It says, with a new dog on each episode, the trainers blank and blank were busy. Okay. They had just 2 weeks to teach each dog at least 5 tricks. Okay. That detail tells you that pretty much it's hard that's not easy to train um, puppies new tricks. Okay. Because each episode is a new dog that they have to do something. Okay. So then I would write it something like this. Go back to this. And then I would go, uh, you can say the article says that each episode of the show, each episode of the show, each episode of the show, oops, of the show has a different dog. And that sometimes and that sometimes uh, and that sometimes the trainers had 2 weeks to teach the dog at least how many tricks? Okay, at least 5 tricks. Okay, something like that. Okay, now let's look at question number 2. It says, according to the article, what is a cube? Oh, let me go back to the article then. Here it is. Okay, it's in the third column actually, and it says, as the dog looks up, its body naturally sits, and at the same time, the trainers use cues. Do I know what cue means so far? No. If I keep reading, it's going to tell me. Watch. Those are special words or hand movements. So what are cues? Or what's a cue? Yes, a special word or a hand movement. So go back to my, okay. A cue, right, is a special what? Word or hand movement. Have movement. Okay. Let's be a little bit more detail. Hand movement that an animal trainer uses to tell a dog how tell a dog how it should behave. So if you have something similar to that, that's perfect. All right, look at question number 3. It says, what steps do the trainers follow to teach a dog to sit? So that's what I'm looking for. Go back to the text. Let's see. Wait a minute. So again, as the dog looks up, sits, its body naturally sits. Okay. At the same time, the trainers use cues. Those are special words or movements. Once the dog sits, here we go. Once the dog sits, because the question was, okay, what steps do the trainers follow to teach a dog to sit? Here we go. Once a dog sits, it gets a treat as a reward. So we want that first, right? So it gets a treat. Yeah, that's a good one. It gets a treat as a reward, right? Oh, for example, to get a dog to sit, here it is. Okay, they hold a treat just above the dog's nose. Okay, it's kind of like holding a carrot. Okay, above the dog's nose to encourage to him, okay, to naturally sit. Okay, they also give a cue, so they give cues. The trainers use cues. Then when the dog sits, here we go. It gets a treat as a reward. Good doggy. Later, the trainers add more time between the cue and the reward. Explains that the dog learns that a cue means it should behave in a special way. If it does, it will get a treat. Right here. Next, the trainers add more time between the cues, okay, and the reward. So look, the answer was in the text. 2 columns, really. Okay. So here's the answer. Here's what you should have for question number 3, something like this. Okay. It says, first they hold a treat just above the dog's nose to encourage it to sit naturally. Found that in the text. They also give a cue. Then when the dog sits, they give it a reward. Okay. And then later the trainers add more time between the cue and the reward. Okay. Make sure you have at least all of this. Okay. The key words. Okay. They give them a reward to encourage them to sit. Give a cue. Okay. Right. They hold the reward or the treat right above his nose to sit, to encourage him to sit. They give a cue. They give them a reward, and then they give them a little bit more time between the cue and the reward, so that way they don't get mixed up.